Greetings. This is the Jason of the past, and I want to introduce the Jason of the future, or I guess the present now. I'm helping out Jason because he's probably busy making sure that everyone has the yellow sheet. It's actually the shortened class syllabus. It's a yellow sheet, has information about main points to support your child, classroom homework, interesting things about grades, if you like that kind of stuff, and then in the back is assessment codes. So we won't give any letter grades this year in science. Actually, the whole department, we are going to use proficiency letter grades and codes. So the proficiency grades are proficient, which is PR, and that means the student is accurately and complete. Everything is complete, and they really have a good, solid understanding of the topic. EX, exceeding, means that the student is actually bringing all that information and providing interesting ways, creative ways, connecting things that necessarily weren't connected in a unit all together. And so this is one way that kids can be innovative, and we want to teach kids not just to follow the rules, but to add on stuff and really be creative there. DV is developing, and that's where kids have some of the information, but it's not quite all there enough to prove that that student has shown mastery of the topic that we're doing. And then at the bottom, level 1 would be does not meet, DN. It might be DNM on the synergy, but that's called incorrect, meaning the information they have is not right, or they gave so little information that it was really hard to actually show evidence that they actually know what they're doing for that particular work. If it's 0, that means it's missing. Please make sure that gets in by the end of that unit. Anyways, there'll be pluses and minuses as well, and those kind of show on the talk on the bottom. So let's get to the website, the simple website here. This will be tools that students will be using, like Google Earth and that kind of stuff, later on in the year. So there's our calendar, and the calendar sometimes we'll have links to worksheets that we're doing. We're actually not doing this tomorrow. We actually changed course because of a cool thing that just happened to us here at daVinci. Here's a syllabus. So if you want to read that 7.5-page syllabus, it's right here. I also have purple forms. Jason, can you kind of point out where those are up front? That you can take if you don't have access or a printer and you'd like to have a hard copy of that syllabus. We just wanted to save and conserve on paper. Here's a parent view. Click in, and then over here is the science textbook that you can click on, and you can hit Science Inspires, and they can actually look at any of the book at home. And iPad works pretty well too. So that's something that they have, the password and ID on their front science journal, and it is actually everyone in the entire district has the same password. This is actually alumni, so we're actually watching this video because this is alumni from daVinci from 1996, and so she actually was in this very room, and so we decided to kind of change pace because that's pretty cool. All right, so now we're going to go to the presentation. So my teaching colleague is Kevin Conroy, and I'm Jason Hieggelke, and we will go on. This is Earth Science. So we have different units. Right now we're doing erosion. Some of the other units that we'll be doing is next is plate tectonics. So earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis. So just keep that in mind as we talk about that, because your child might want to talk with you about concerns. And we're actually going to work on emergency preparedness. So that's something that the city has asked with the Cascadia plan, and this is a great time to do that. So maybe as a family you'll be more involved. And then there's going to be things like Earth and space, which is tides and those kind of things, and then solar system, where we talk about the bigger picture of space, and then rocks and minerals, and weather. So those are the topics that we'll be talking about. So this is an activity. This is a case-based thing. It's like has a model, and its idea is where should builders place a new building in the city of Boomtown? So there's 3 places. There's the cliffside, the marsh, and Green Hill. All of them have different characteristics, and they need to study the changes. So one of the activities that they have to do right away in the beginning of this unit is they have to compare the different changing topographical features, or the surface changes over time, to see which one is the most stable. So these are three different maps that they got to overlay. They also got to look at the actual city too, city maps as well. But before that, obviously, most of these kids probably didn't have a lot of experience with topographical maps, so they were able to do an activity to kind of learn what topographical maps mean. This is a pretty cool activity, and you guys are going to all get a chance to do it. So this is a learning goal. I can create topographical maps. This goal is shortened version, but on the left-hand side of the of the room, there's actually targets there, you'll see, and there's learning goals there that are posted every time we do a learning goal. That's the title, Making Topographical Maps. And this is the reading. We read this together usually in class. The bold words are usually vocabulary put in their journals. And so this might be something helpful if they're not getting what they were supposed to get in class. They're like, I don't remember. Have them go back online and read the introduction paragraph. That might give you a good insight too of what they were actually doing. The challenge question is kind of the driving question for the activity. So what do lines on the topographical map show? And so this activity we're going to run. So there's materials and procedure. There's always a procedure after this. A lot of different modalities with this particular CPUP kit. Sometimes it's going to be a reading, sometimes it's a modeling, sometimes it's a lab. Really does change. So we're actually going to start you here and step 2. So at this point we're going to pause this and you can go ahead and run steps 2. Hopefully Jason has it set up by now, or you have it set up by now. Okay, after they've done the activity, hopefully you enjoyed that activity and you can see it. I'm going to ask that at the end of this part that you'll actually empty all the trays into any of the sinks. That's fine, and you can leave the kits and everything on by the sinks. Jason will come clean those off for the next period. Please just leave the water there on the tables. So these are analysis questions. So here's the process questions that they do. So they always start off with kind of easier questions about the activity, and then they kind of move into more content area kind of work. So this was talking about which one's a flatter area, which one's more of a gentle slope, and which one's a steep. This would be steep, and that's gentle. And we would actually go over that in class. Now here's one that is interesting. So this is the final kind of the challenge question, if you may say. What kind of landform is this? What do you guys think? Well, the answer is actually, if you look at 20, 40, 60, it's actually kind of a crater or a valley. About half the kids got this right, half the other kids didn't get it right. So that's kind of interesting to have them figure that out. So at the end of their learning cycle there's a reflection site. So here's the learning target again. There's where they pre-assess. So how well did I understand before? How well did I understand it now? And then any kind of question that they have, any kind of question they want to make up. That's kind of spurred from this activity. This is what we physically did. So what did we do? Well, we made maps. We drew a map on top of a plexiglass, and then what they learned. What do they think was the main idea that they learned? So here's an example of this particular activity. So these are actually a lot of analysis questions. Sometimes there'll be data tables here. There's the challenge, the title, the date, and down here is the learning target. So this person said, how do you show the elevations of things underwater? Great question. And so they actually did understand it pretty well already, and they understand it really well now too. Okay. All right, so here's my website. It's hieggelke.weebly.com. Volunteers are always wanted, requested for various things. So I will send some emails out once in a while on things that are coming up. And I hope you enjoyed your visit here. And if Jason has any final remarks, please, Jason of the present, speak now. Have a good night, and I hope you guys have a really nice weekend.